They lose when you stay calm. The Art of Emotional Control by Machiavelli's Law of Power. They say the greatest wars are not fought on open fields, but inside the mind. You see, every human being walks with two armies within, one ruled by emotion and one ruled by control. Most people never realize which side has already won. Emotion is ancient. It's the first language of survival, the fire that made us human, but also the storm that blinds us to truth. Control, on the other hand, is silence. It moves slowly, unseen, like the hand that directs the flame instead of being burned by it. The difference between the powerful and the powerless has never been wealth or talent or birth. It has always been emotional control. And once you understand this truth, you stop reacting to life and start commanding it.
If you believe wisdom isn't white or dark, but power understood, then this space is yours. Subscribe to White Side of Black Coded and step into the knowledge most people fear to confront. Now, let's dive deeper.
Emotion is ancient, but it is not wise. It doesn't think. It moves. It floods. It overwhelms. It makes kings beg and soldiers weep. Emotion promises honesty, but honesty without reason is chaos dressed as virtue. Most people confuse emotion for authenticity. They say, "I'm just expressing how I feel." But they don't see that emotion is often the puppet master, pulling strings they never built. To react instantly is to give your enemy the map to your soul. Machiavelli once wrote, "Men are so simple and so obedient to present necessities that he who deceives will always find someone who lets himself be deceived." That someone is the one ruled by emotion. Control is not suppression, it is orchestration. To master emotion is not to silence it, but to conduct it like music, to let it play when needed and fade when dangerous. Most confuse calm with weakness, but calm is not the absence of emotion. It is the throne upon which emotion kneels. The strong do not avoid feeling. They simply decide when feeling is useful. Every second of control builds invisible power. The ability to remain still when others shake, to remain focused when others fall apart. That's not personality. That's discipline refined by understanding. And the world, my friend, always bends to the calm. The mind is clever, but it's also a traitor. It will justify your emotions, turning weakness into righteousness, pain into narrative, anger into truth. We all crave meaning, but meaning can be a mask for emotional chaos. You must learn to question yourself in silence, to ask, is this real, or just my fear wearing logic's face? Only those who doubt their first emotion ever reach clarity. When you stop defending your emotions, you start mastering them. And that is the beginning of power. Every reaction is a confession. The moment you react, you reveal where you are weak. The manipulator doesn't need to read your mind. He only needs to make you emotional, because emotion speaks louder than thought. Anger tells him where to press. Fear tells him where to wait. Pride tells him how to blind you. In every confrontation, the first to react has already lost the upper hand. The one who controls the pace of emotion controls the direction of reality. This is why silence terrifies people. It strips them of the rhythm they control. Silence turns their confidence into anxiety. Their words stumble into the emptiness you create. And in that emptiness, you win without moving. Stillness is not emptiness. It is energy without waste. It's the space between heartbeats, the pause between storms. To be still in chaos is to see what others cannot, because most people react before they perceive. Stillness makes you dangerous because it gives you time. And time in every battlefield is power. When you are still, you see patterns, you read faces, you hear what isn't said. Stillness gives you the gift of choosing your response instead of being dragged by impulse. And once you learn to wait, you will find that the world begins to reveal itself to you. Pain is the purest teacher, but only if you remain conscious while learning.
Most drown in pain. The few, they analyze it. Every betrayal, every humiliation, every heartbreak is data. The untrained mind suffers. The trained mind studies. Pain sharpens the blade of perception. It makes you precise. It teaches you what destroys you, so you can stop feeding it. You don't rise by avoiding pain. You rise by dissecting it. And once pain becomes study, it loses the power to destroy you. That is transformation. In every room, there are two kinds of people: those who are moved by emotion and those who move emotion. The first are predictable. They live in reaction. They're the ones whose anger is visible, whose joy is loud, whose sadness becomes public theater. The second are invisible. They observe. They sense emotion the way a wolf smells fear. They don't feed from it, they direct it. To weaponize emotional control is not to manipulate others. It is to remain immune to their attempts to manipulate you. Because when emotion rules you, anyone can own you. A few words, a tone, a well-timed silence, and you'll move exactly as they expect. But when you master control, you stop being predictable, and unpredictability is the highest form of power. Most fear silence because it forces them to meet themselves. Silence is truth unmasked. It exposes insecurity, reveals discomfort, and magnifies whatever lies beneath the surface. That's why powerful people speak less. Their silence says what their words never could. In negotiation, silence is pressure. In conflict, silence is dominance. In chaos, silence is stability. You see, when everyone else tries to shout louder, your quiet becomes deafening. Even nature understands this. A predator makes no noise when it hunts. So learn to weaponize your silence. It makes the world reveal itself, and those without control, they crumble beneath it. To detach is not to stop caring, it's to care wisely. Attachment blinds. It ties your emotions to outcomes you cannot command. Detachment frees the mind to see what truly matters. When you are emotionally detached, you don't beg for peace, you create it. You don't chase validation, you become the source of it. People will call you cold because they confuse calm with indifference. But indifference is numbness, detachment is awareness. It is the art of standing in fire without being burned. It's the ability to say, I feel it, but I control it. And that, my friend, is emotional freedom. There are moments when emotion serves you, when passion fuels creation, when empathy builds trust, when love creates meaning. But emotion must be summoned, not spilled. It should be your servant,
never your master. The strong feel deeply. They just do not drown. The weak mistake drowning for depth. You must learn to choose your emotions as a warrior chooses weapons, with intention, with timing, with purpose. Feel when it builds, control when it risks, withdraw when it threatens clarity. That is how emotion turns from weakness into strategy. Calm is not natural. It's constructed, forged in discomfort, polished in chaos. True calm is earned through exposure to storm. Every time you resist the urge to react, you sharpen your calm. Every time you observe rather than explode, you build emotional armor. Calm disarms the aggressive, confuses the manipulator, and elevates you above the frantic. When others are loud, become quieter. When others rush, become slower. When others demand, observe. Because the one who remains calm controls the temperature of every room. Calm is not weakness. It's an unspoken declaration of power. Machiavelli once said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." But the modern mind misunderstands this. He wasn't glorifying cruelty. He was describing psychological reality. Love is emotional, fear is structural. Love is given, fear is managed. Emotionally controlled leaders inspire both, through strength, not noise. The Machiavellian truth of control is this: you do not need to dominate others. You need only dominate yourself. Once your emotions obey you, everything else follows. People sense control. They trust it, fear it, respect it, often at the same time. To rule yourself is to rule silently over the world around you. Every person wears a mask. It's not deception, it's defense. Your emotions are your mirror, but your mask is your weapon. The mirror tells you who you are. The mask shows the world what you decide to reveal. Never confuse the two. To expose emotion too freely is to hand the world your reflection, and once they have it, they can distort it. Your mask is not falsehood, it's protection. It's the art of being unseen even when watched. A calm face in a stormy room becomes the strongest signal of control.
Remember, those who can't read you can't reach you. Today, emotion is currency. Outrage is profitable. Fear is marketable. Attention is power. And the system feeds on reaction. Social media, politics, advertising, they are all psychological weapons built to hijack your emotions and turn your reaction into their control. To survive, you must rise above noise. Emotional control is no longer luxury, it's armor. The moment you stop reacting to everything, you become invisible to manipulation. You stop feeding systems that depend on your outrage. You become untouchable. And in a world built on distraction, the focused mind is the final rebellion. True mastery begins when emotion obeys will. When the storm rises, but you don't. When the insult comes, but you don't respond. When loss arrives, but you don't collapse. That is not coldness, that is strength. To be unmoved is not to be empty, it's to be full of awareness. You understand the game, you see the patterns, you choose when to engage. The unmovable mind doesn't seek peace, it is peace. No one can give it, no one can take it. It is earned through pain, through restraint, through the refusal to break. And when you reach that state, you no longer fight the world. You let the world fight itself around you. In the end, emotional control is not about domination. It's about evolution. It's not about being heartless. It's about having a heart that doesn't command you. Emotion is fire. Without control, it consumes. With control, it illuminates. You were not meant to be enslaved by what you feel. You were meant to understand it, shape it, and use it as the energy that builds your destiny. So when the world provokes you, when they demand your reaction, pause. Smile in silence. Because the moment you no longer need to react, you have already won. And that is the essence of power. Not in noise, not in chaos, but in calm that commands them both. Power is not an explosion, it is a construction. Stone by stone, moment by moment. Every time you resist the pull of emotion, you lay another brick. Every time you choose observation over reaction, you pour another layer of foundation. And what rises from it is not arrogance, but presence. The kind of presence that enters a room and changes its temperature without a single word. This presence cannot be faked. It's born from restraint, forged in self-conflict, and tested in silence. You see, control is not gained through peace. It's earned through war. War against your impulses, your fears, your need to prove yourself. Most people live to be seen. The powerful live to understand. To see through the world is greater than to be seen by it. That's the architecture of inner power, invisible, silent, but undeniable. Observation is energy. It looks passive, but it isn't. It absorbs, it reads, it calculates. Every emotion that passes through your body is information, but if you react, you destroy the signal. If you observe, you decode it.
Anger, when observed, reveals where you still depend on others for validation. Jealousy, when observed, shows you what you secretly desire but haven't earned. Fear, when observed, shows you where your preparation is incomplete. The wise don't escape emotion, they use it as data. That's what makes emotional control a weapon. While others drown in feeling, you learn from it. Every emotion seeks expression. When you suppress it, it festers. When you release it blindly, it consumes. But when you redirect it, you transform it. That's the alchemy of reaction. Anger becomes focus. Fear becomes strategy. Sadness becomes reflection. Desire becomes discipline. You are not a slave to your chemistry. You are its chemist. Control is not the death of feeling. It's the transformation of chaos into precision. Machiavelli hinted at this truth in another form. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. The fool reacts. The wise plan. The fool burns energy. The wise refine it. Every unexpressed emotion can be stored as power if you can hold it long enough to see its pattern. That's why controlled people feel different. They vibrate at another frequency. They seem untouchable because they have learned to convert every emotion into intelligence before it escapes. The gap between emotion and action is the measure of your power. Most people act instantly. They speak before they think, decide before they understand, destroy before they measure. But the powerful delay, not because they're unsure, but because they are calculating. They stretch the moment. They allow the emotion to pass through them, but not command them. In that delay
lies everything: clarity, advantage, precision. The delay is the difference between chaos and mastery. The world is built to provoke you. Algorithms, headlines, arguments, all designed to erase the gap between emotion and reaction. When you rebuild that gap, you reclaim sovereignty over your mind. And sovereignty is the purest form of freedom. Composure has shape. It is not soft, it's structured. When you maintain composure, you form a boundary around your psyche. You become the center of your own geometry. Calm at the core, movement at the edges. Others orbit your calm without even knowing why. They sense something unshakable. They interpret it as confidence, authority, even mystery. But what they're feeling is structure, the architecture of composure. To remain composed is to project invisible order into chaotic spaces. People trust those who can hold structure, because structure feels safe in a world addicted to collapse. Silence is not emptiness, it is weight. It presses down on those who cannot carry it. Most speak to lighten themselves. The powerful remain silent to let others reveal themselves. In silence, truth leaks. You hear insecurity in tone, see deception in eyes, smell fear in hesitation. Silence exposes the world's weaknesses without you lifting a single weapon. That's why silence feels uncomfortable, because in it, masks fall.
And when you can sit in that weight without flinching, you become the gravitational center of every room. The talkative orbit around you, the emotional exhaust themselves, and you remain. Restraint is ritual. It's not something you do once, it's something you practice daily, like meditation, like warfare. Every moment that demands your reaction is a ritual test. Will you serve emotion or command it? Restraint requires remembering that no battle of impulse ever ends in victory. If you win by emotion, you lose by emotion. But if you win by restraint, you win permanently. Because restraint doesn't just protect you from others, it protects you from yourself. And when the self becomes stable, the world loses its leverage. Self-command is royalty. It cannot be gifted, it must be earned. Every emperor who ever lost a kingdom first lost command of himself. The throne of power is built in the mind, long before it appears in the world. To sit on that throne, you must learn to rule your impulses with patience and precision. You must speak when silence no longer serves. Act when calculation meets timing. Retreat when wisdom whispers stillness. This is not coldness. This is consciousness refined. The world will test your crown daily. It will whisper temptation, ignite anger, summon fear. Your task is not to resist the world. It is to remain seated within yourself. Because the true crown cannot be taken. It can only be surrendered through reaction.
Stillness is not absence. It is presence condensed. The quiet gravity that makes others lean forward without understanding why. When you master stillness, you stop chasing attention, and attention begins to orbit you. People call it charisma, but it is simply emotional control made visible. Energy moves toward what does not move. The world bows to what it cannot shake. Every human radiates energy. Most leak it. Their emotions spill out through words, gestures,
noise. But when energy is contained, when emotion is compressed behind calm, it becomes magnetic. The mind reads composure as certainty. Certainty breeds curiosity. Curiosity becomes influence. You do not persuade with words alone. You persuade with presence. And presence is born from restraint. When you enter a room and feel no need to prove, no need to react, no need to dominate, the energy in that room quietly reorders itself. That is control. Power speaks slowly. It uses fewer words, but every syllable carries weight. A calm tone cuts deeper than volume. The louder the world shouts, the more authority whispers gain. You can disarm aggression by lowering your voice. You can redirect anger by changing rhythm, not argument. Emotionally controlled speech is hypnosis without deception. It bypasses resistance and speaks directly to the nervous system of others. Those who master tone rarely need force, because power that doesn't shout creates the deepest echo. Human perception is fluid. People do not see you as you are. They see you as they feel around you. If your energy is chaotic, their perception fractures. If your energy is grounded, their mind settles into orbit. Control the emotion you emit, and you control the lens through which you're perceived. That's why emotional mastery outlasts beauty, status, even intelligence. All fade when instability appears. But control feels eternal. Those who can stand still while the crowd trembles become landmarks in the chaos of others. Every act of control creates an echo in the minds of those who witness it. When you stay composed under pressure, it challenges their definition of power. They start asking, how is he not shaken? What does she know that I don't? This curiosity becomes silent respect, and respect, once granted without request, is the purest currency of influence. You never need to claim control. Others feel it. The echo remains long after you leave the room. Think of stillness as gravity. It doesn't chase, it draws. It doesn't demand, it defines. Everything weaker bends toward it. In negotiation, stillness creates discomfort. The impatient reveal their limits. The desperate over-explain. The manipulative overreach. Meanwhile, you remain anchored, unreadable, sovereign. The one who breaks the silence first usually loses the balance of power. That's not cruelty, it's physics. Emotional control bends reality because it bends timing, and timing decides outcome. Predictable emotion is exploitable emotion. When people know what angers you, they own you. When they know what excites you, they steer you. When they know what frightens you, they cage you. But when your reactions are measured, delayed, minimal, you become unreadable. And the unreadable is untouchable. It's not mystery for ego's sake. It's protection for strategy's sake. When no one can predict your next move, they are forced to respect your presence before they challenge your will. Influence requires paradox. You must be detached enough to see clearly, yet engaged enough to connect deeply. Too detached, and you appear cold. People withdraw. Too emotional, and you lose authority. People invade. Balance lives in awareness. See their emotions, mirror their rhythm, but remain the observer. You stand in empathy, but not in entanglement. They feel seen. You remain free. That is emotional control refined into art. People mirror the energy that dominates the space. If you radiate panic, they absorb it. If you radiate calm, they settle. The emotionally powerful create atmospheres. They don't fight energy, they replace it. Walk into conflict with stillness, and the chaos starts to tire itself. Speak slowly in aggression, and anger loses rhythm. Influence begins not with manipulation, but with emotional example.
The world copies control because it craves it. To command emotion is to walk a knife's edge between humanity and divinity. You still feel everything, but you decide what deserves expression. There will be days when control feels lonely, when silence feels heavy, when you crave the easy comfort of reaction. That is the test. That is the sharpening. Because control without temptation is illusion. Only in the presence of chaos can calm prove itself true. So when your heart begins to rise, when anger begs to speak, when fear demands escape, breathe. Remember, your emotion is the blade. Your control is the hand that wields it. Never confuse the weapon for the warrior.